Hold on. Let me take a sip.
Hey, Friday.
Friday.
So ready.
Do you have things this weekend?
Oh,
Important things?
yeah. I have things on things on things. Like by December 18th will be my next day off.
Oh, okay. And we're counting down like an advent calendar.
Absolutely. I actually got my children really nice advent calendars this year. When we were in Maine, they have this British store. So they have real British
Oh,
Cadbury.
I know exactly what you're talking about. Yeah.
Yeah, so they've got real British Cadbury, which doesn't have all like the crap that we put in our chocolates in the States.
All of the
So I got
fake
them.
plastic.
Yeah, right.
In like whale
PFAS in our
teeth.
chocolate. Yum yum.
Yeah. Whatever it is.
So yeah, I'm so jealous. I like watch them eat it every day. I'm like, did you get your chocolate?
Like I did this thing for you, but also for me so I could watch and be jealous.
That's so bad. Here I am. 'Tis the season where I'm trying to avoid everything like the plague, but I am still working out. So
Good
balance.
for you.
Balance.
Boyfriend called me out real hard over the week. Not like in a bad way. Not
Yeah.
like I was like, I'd eaten mac and cheese twice that day. And I was like, this is not great. And he was like, yeah, isn't ski season coming up? And I was like, oh, point out that we have not worked out the thighs or done any cardio in a long time. And we are not prepped for ski season. Thank you.
But that's a better workout. That's not like it is a workout and a half.
Yeah.
But it's not like I'm gonna have to go and sit and rot in this box for a little while and sweat.
No, but like I try to work out to get ready for ski season so that like when I'm entering ski season, I'm not afraid. Like my knees are so susceptible. I'm just getting old. Like my knees, my back are so susceptible. I try to like create a little core there, get a little thigh and butt built,
Doesn't get easier.
No, try to protect my knees mostly. And
You have to.
we didn't do that this year. And
Mac
I
and
didn't.
cheese or knees.
It
I
was
go mac
fine.
and cheese.
Yeah, that was pretty much it. And I was like, you know what? You're right, but shh.
Boyfriend, not boyfriend, zip it.
I know. No, but he was saying it. He's gonna get
lovingly.
He was saying it in like a nice, loving way. Like,
Right.
You
Not
don't
a
need anything else on
shameful,
your plate, but
listen,
maybe
fatty. No, it wasn't that.
No, it was not like that. It was like you can eat whatever you want, but maybe you should not kill yourself this season. I was like, oh.
Right.
However, right before this episode, we have a full story, but I went down a flipping rabbit hole.
I was like, where is she?
I know. You were like, the episode's ready. And I was like deep in this article. So I read a headline that said, oh, I'm going to lose it now. Read a headline that said like, men between the ages of 18 and 29 are in less relationships and having less sex because they're spending their time sports betting instead.
So bizarre.
Okay. And I was like, there's no way. Like,
is this coming
like
on bowl season?
What?
College football. This is usually the time of year, December 18th to January 8th, in which most gentlemen become couch potatoes. And then the sports betting gets even worse because they're betting on dumb shit like the Wasabi Pea Bowl, which is the one we're having here in Massachusetts. It's the Wasabi Fenway Bowl.
I don't know anything about
There's the Pop
I don't know
Tart
anything about it.
It is going to be bowl season before us. By the way, kudos to the Patriots for a big win yesterday. Who cares?
Did we actually win anything?
We won.
I noticed my face of shock and confusion.
It was the game that they moved off of like the primetime game.
Maybe that's why. Now that nobody is watching, we can play kind of.
Oh, we won. Hey, everyone, we won. No one watched.
Okay. But I'm just fascinated by this. So,
why?
Quote unquote, the Oracle of Wall Street, who apparently predicted the crash in 2008, has come out and said there's a negative impact that's paired with all men, paralleled with the fact that 63% of men between the ages of 18 and 29 are single. And I looked this up. It's true. The article came out last February. It's the highest it's ever been. 50% of those men also have no interest in dating, even casually.
Yeah.
And 30% of men said that they haven't had sex in over a year and they don't give a shit.
they're getting that same rush. It's like the same part of your brain that you get from the gambling.
I think this is fascinating. Young men who have grown up with gaming are used to doing everything on their phone, and now now they can do all the sports and betting on their phone. They can do real-time parlays on their phone. You've got young men who don't want to date and young women who are spending their time with Instagram moments at Taylor Swift concerts. I think just from a societal point of view, it's so fascinating because I think that there's such a sense of trueness to this, but I
Yeah.
can't tell if it also feels a little bit like boomer judgy. Like, you guys set the precedent of, and obviously not you, I mean, the boomer generation
Right. Not me.
generation, set the precedent of, like, having these relationships that you were in, that you divorced from, that you had to work through. We grew up with that trauma, and now we're in our 20s going, "I don't wanna do that. I just
I'm
wanna live
good.
my life. I wanna do my own thing. I wanna spend my own money the way I wanna spend it. I don't wanna spend 60 grand on a wedding. I wanna do whatever." And we're not dating. We're not I mean, like, I went through, what, 2
Well, there's
years?
a lot more things you can do with yourself. It's safer.
Yeah, no kidding. Then having to, like, deal with, like, the societal and emotional
Everything,
impact
all
of
of it.
dating.
The physical issues, the mental issues, the trauma, and then, like, it's just a whole thing that you can completely avoid and be self-sustaining.
But they're comparing this to the housing market. They're saying that us and a generation of men are spending so much money on sports betting that they're not gonna have money for houses. They're
Right.
saying 70% of the housing stock, is owned by people over 50, and eventually those people are gonna sell their houses and move into, I'm assuming, like, smaller homes, retirement homes, whatever, and there's gonna
Yep.
be nobody to buy their homes because all the young men in the world are spending all their money on sports betting.
Right.
I'm just fascinated by this, like, claim that sounds so fabricated, but when you actually break it down and you think about it, you're like, "That's actually kind of interesting."
So, are they predicting the real estate market to crash? Is this what they're saying?
I don't know, like,
This bubble
crash
is
is the
gonna
right
burst?
I don't know if crash is the right term, but I'm it sounds like this inventory problem we're having right now is not going to be an inventory problem eventually, and
Yeah,
all
it's
these
not I
boomers,
mean, no problems are ever problems forever, right? I mean, they all come to a natural end.
I can't it's 63%, that just seems so high to me.
I'm not blaming the gambling, I'm blaming at all of the we're just really more self-sufficient and self-absorbed, and self-reliant, I feel
Further
like, than we have been ever.
My other further question is 63% of men are single. However, do you think that's probably and partially because the standards of women in their 20s are increasing? We don't need to rely on a man to take us out to dinner. We don't need to rely on somebody else to fulfill any sort of internal satisfaction. Like, young women go out and we do their thing. The standards have set, men have yet to rise to them, and or women don't care about it. We're not picking the men back.
And I don't
Maybe
wanna
they're not.
I don't want a blanket statement and generalize all guys, but I just feel like it's that level of work that they don't wanna put in.
Yeah. I just wonder if there's an interesting conversation whereas, like, 63% of men are single and they're spending more money on sports betting and won't be able to buy a home or can't buy a home. But also, where's that conversation with women?
Ladies, they realized our shit's a trick.
I
It's
also
a
just
lie.
I just thought it was an interesting perspective in the article. It made it sound like the men are choosing to be single, and I wanted to flip it on its head and be like, maybe they're not being chosen by women.
Yeah. No, they just realized that it's ugh, that's work. Ugh. I can play my video games and get that same, I don't know,
Maybe
dopamine
people don't wanna have
rush.
sex with you. Did you
Yeah.
think about that? Spending all your money on sports betting, you
You're
can't
not a
take
big
us out to
catch,
dinner.
Craig. You're not a big catch.
No, because 'cause you're sitting on your goddamn cell phone all the time, worried about your stupid college games.
Oh, I love it. That's a good entrance to,
Should we get
what
into what's roasting?
let's go. Let's roast it up. I'm ready.
Finally, out of the single train, Selena Gomez. Although I, like, lived for her single content. Her screaming on the sides of the soccer field, yelling, "I'm single. Somebody take me out on a date," was like the content the internet didn't know it needed. Um, but apparently she is dating a producer, Benny Blanco. I actually have no idea who that is.
He
Do we know who that is?
smells. He looks like he smells.
To be like, do we know this personally?
I know what he looks like. He is in what the hell is that TV show about the fake rapper, but he's actually a real rapper, Lil Dicky. Um,
Oh, okay.
so
Sure.
he's in it. He is an actual producer. He is a
Oh.
genius, but he also is like kind of a scrub.
He looks like kind of a scrub, but she's been dropping little hints here and there. She like posted a picture with like just the bottom half of his face with her like
Yeah.
snuggled up to him. And then I love this. She reacted to something on Instagram about him and how they might be rumored dating or something, and she just commented facts.
Oh,
I
okay.
was like, okay, I guess that's not a rumor. That is confirmation from the
Yeah.
woman herself. So cute. I don't know if she's dating somebody. Like, I kind of love that for her. I think
I
she's
like
been
that
single.
she's dating him only just because seems super fun.
He seems like he's got actual talent, which
Yeah.
is
Oh, no, he
a
totally does.
nice
Like, he's an actual
change.
music genius. The way he puts together stuff is incredible, impeccable, but he's like that out there artist,
Yeah.
eclectic. I don't give a shit what people think of me. I think it's a good person for her.
Yeah, she needs that. She's so
Yeah.
wildly talented in itself. Like, talk about triple threat. And
But
I,
she's so I don't know. I feel like her and Taylor, since they are besties in that realm of thing, but they're both like very put together, organized, like on top of their whatever. And then they got these big goofballs that they're dating. I
yeah,
think
that's
'tis the
true.
season for goofball dudes.
I
This
think
is
it's
your time, weirdo guys. This is
I
your
know.
time.
And the other thing I was saying too, like, I think it's such the time for, like, I call them simp men. It's like such a Gen Z term, but like these guys that are obsessed with their women or like willing to go the extra mile or be really affectionate, post on Instagram, like be proud of them, show up to their events, like be that supportive guy. This is 100% the season for that. We're seeing it with
Mhm.
Taylor. We're seeing it with Kelsey Ballerini and Chase Stokes. We're seeing it all over with new couples. And I think this is all along those same lines. And I am just here for it.
Yeah.
Support it. Want one of my own. Let's go.
Yeah, right? Come on, boyfriend, not boyfriend.
He's doing great. I wouldn't exactly call him a simp, but he's doing
Uh,
great.
Not to be dating you, I understand this. I'm very happy for this. I really am. All
I'm a
right, so
hard person to date. He's doing great. Okay. Anyway.
Olivia Rodrigo accidentally followed her ex on social media while
I
stalking.
This is so funny because it's so relatable. Like we've
Yeah,
all been the girl that goes, just a couple days ago went and like was curious and found one of my exes on Instagram and just searched like, is he still with that girl? Like, how did that? I wanted to know.
I had a
You
conversation with new Tori this week.
Oh,
So it was college week from the college. And so I had this like really adorable 19, 20
wait,
year
wait,
old
wait. You said new
something.
Tori. Don't for a second think that I am replaceable. I'm sorry. Okay.
I definitely
Just
see her as somebody that we can add into the mix of that other age bracket. You know what I
perfect.
mean?
We need a
Where
Gen Zer. Let's go.
where we can get that 20 something mentality of
They
the
can
same
teach us the
stuff.
slang, teach us the terms we are definitely not using, right? Okay.
I know, right? I know. Can you help us along? Help a girl out. What are the kids talking about these
Yeah,
days?
we have no idea.
But she was like really quick and she was really fun and loved one of her podcast, her pocket podcast from the college is called Girly Gossip. So
Ah,
she's a total Taylor fan.
yes, let's
Everything
go.
you would totally love her. But we were having this conversation about this exact situation. Where she was talking about her girlfriend and she's like, my girlfriend does this on accident, but like on the routine all of the time. Like gets busted all the time because she's sloppy. And I thought it was so funny and relatable because we all do it. And I was
Yes.
channeling when I was talking to her, you in
Ah,
this conversation. I was like, I you got to meet Tori.
I so it's so funny is that like we've all done this or we've all come close to this for sure. The even funnier part with Olivia Rodrigo is that she was doing like this social media cleanse situation. So she wasn't following anybody. Then she accidentally followed him. So her profile said following one person. She like blows up the internet accidentally, and her friend has to text her and is like, you should maybe unfollow him. And so she had to go and unfollow him. Can you imagine?
Yeah, that's a pregnant friggin' exclamation point at the end of that sentence. There is no walking that back by an accident.
I have on more than one occasion been the girl that accidentally Snapchats the wrong person, which isn't great. Because typically when you're sending a Snapchat, it's not.
What was on the snap, Tori?
No, I'm not like that. But like, maybe something you like don't the like messages for somebody else
Yeah,
or something.
cutesy stuff.
Yeah,
I
and then
didn't
you
mean
send
to
it to
be cutesy with you. I don't like you. I don't even know why you're still on my snap.
hey, big fella, good to see you again. And I like send it to the wrong guy. And I'm like,
Whoopsies.
not you. That wasn't for you. Please don't take that as an invitation.
It's another big fella. I have a type.
Yep. And I did it this couple days ago.
Awkward.
Fully accidentally. I was sitting in the living room with boyfriend. We were watching a comedy special. I had the tree going. I was eating a Reese's cup. I was sitting with the dog. And I was like, this is really cute. I want to take a Snapchat. So I took a little video and so I could save it. And instead of hitting save, I posted it to my story. The thing is, I've been like trying to be very private about this relationship and where it's going. And posting it on Snapchat was like not remotely the plan. You should have seen the panic.
That's like a birth announcement.
Oh, it would have been like the hardest launch randomly on a freaking Tuesday night for no reason. Had to like quickly, it was like sweating and hyperventilating and not letting boyfriend see the fact that I accidentally did this because he would have not been okay with that. So I'm just like trying to delete it, going, oh my God, 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 oh my God.
Sometimes
I almost had to call friend zone Jake,
there.
like, how do I take this on my story? What do I do?
Help! I need a professional.
And the whole time you're just staring at the viewership, like, has anybody seen it? Has anybody seen it? Anyway, it was fine. Nobody saw it. I deleted it. I got to save the video. I still have it. It's very cute, but hella relatable. Olivia Rodrigo. Can't.
Yes.
Can't.
Yeah.
They're on that.
Totally.
All right. What else we got?
Bradley Cooper launching his food truck in New York City, hinting at plans to open a restaurant. Why the hell, in this day and age, would someone want to go into the restaurateur business?
It just seems to be the thing to do for celebrities. I feel like everybody's got a restaurant now.
Like, I've done all of this. I don't drink, so tequila and that line is off for me, even though that hasn't stopped celebrities from ways to make money.
No.
I don't want to do fashion. Well, also like Betty Buzz or whatever. What's her face?
Oh yeah.
She doesn't drink.
Yeah, so we said Blake Lively.
Drinks or mixers.
Yeah, weird. She came out and was like, I just like to have something for my friends. Like, what friends? You're a celebrity.
Right? Do you think you're in the kitchen crafting cocktails? You're not.
That's listen. I think the food truck thing is cute. Partnered up with like some big deal restaurateur in New York City.
Right.
Donated all the money to charity. First of all, thank you for letting us know that. But also, like, I want to know what kind of charity you're donating to. I don't know if that makes me nosy or like I want to know what kind of person you are. Is it for Alzheimer's? Is it for like women and children? Like, I want to see the receipts of this personally.
And also, how was the steak and cheese?
Yeah,
really, that's the bottom line.
I'm dying to know.
Who did you feed? What charity did you help out? And was the food any good?
I need a star review. I need like a full Google slander. I need to like know what was wrong with all the things of it.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I think opening a restaurant is a horrible, horrible idea. Their P&Ls are a disaster. Like, I couldn't.
It's honestly, it's such thankless work, the cost of food at this point. And you're doing this for a PR stunt, right? You're on the back of a food truck for a PR stunt.
Yeah, and quote unquote,
you can quietly give money to charities or work quietly behind the scenes of a soup kitchen. You don't need to be in New York City on a food truck being like, hi, I'm Bradley Cooper doing all this.
I agree. So what do you
for people?
What do you think he's doing? What is he marketing?
I don't know. What's the goal? What's the end game? Is he doing community service for dumb shit he did? Like, we really don't know.
Is he promoting a new movie? Is he moving into some movie about food? Like, is he going to a movie? What did he do? Cheesesteaks? Is he filming a movie in Philly? Like, what are we doing here?
Right. Exactly. You know that there's an ulterior motive for this. It's not genuinely wanting to do this, which is why, like, sometimes, and I'm always here for it with the celebrity gossip, but when the machine gets rolling and then people just make this fake narrative for a promotional vehicle, it irritates me when you find out later and then you're like, ugh, That's all it was, to promote your dumb movie. It
Yeah.
bothers me.
There's all kinds of lies been going around the internet, and some of the truths be coming out. We'll get to that a little bit. Get to
We
that a
will
little bit
talk about it.
later. But what else? What else we got going right now?
Well, since we're here talking about the holiday season, and I just had kind of a little bit of a laugh because if you're watching any Christmas type of movies, you can't not talk about Christmas Vacation. It's one of the most iconic, still in the top 10, whether you liked it or not. It is relatable, it's quotable. The squirrels in the Christmas tree, to your awful cousin that's now parked in their RV outside, to you being just a disaster. And Clark Griswold was a disaster of a character. So
Um,
yes.
Hot take.
Yes.
Not my favorite Christmas movie.
It's not your age bracket.
I kind of hate this movie.
Yeah. It's
Don't
okay.
come for me.
It's not your age bracket.
I just find it every time I try to watch it every year, I just find it so cringy, and I don't.
Mm. But that's what it is. Like,
Yeah, I
that's
guess.
the way humor was. It was that physical, safe,
Ugh.
and appropriate. I mean, it's for me, it's like watching The Office because it's so
Yeah, but
bad
The
and
Office is
cringe.
witty. The Office is funny
Yes.
and witty. This feels like dumb humor. It's not witty. It's not
But
funny.
that's where The Office built from. You know what I mean? So if you're
Okay.
watching the trajectory
You're
of
telling me Chris
comedy,
you're telling me Christmas Vacation walked so The Office could run?
I feel, yes, I do. I actually do. I feel like it grew up and was like, okay, parts of that are funny,
Yes.
but we need to add some actual comedy to this
Okay.
that will, be a little bit cerebral.
Alright, I didn't
Um,
mean to interrupt you. Just inserting a personal opinion about everything is
yeah,
my
nope,
MO. Continue
like I
this.
had to interrupt because it's me.
Yeah, 100%, yes. So what happened?
But it just made me laugh that he showed up. And so Chevy Chase is 80 years old, right? So he shows up and has children your age.
Love
Shows
it.
and like a really good relationship. He's actually a really good dad, but he's
Awesome.
still that character. Clark Griswold is a disaster, right? So he is 80 years old. He shows up in a wheelchair and he's doing this promotional Christmas Vacation thing, falls off of the stage.
In the wheelchair? Like, the
In the
whole thing
wheelchair.
tumbled?
Yes. Yes. 80 years
Okay.
old, sitting there greeting fans at Shea Performing Arts Center in Buffalo, New York. No, he got up out of the wheelchair and then fell off of the stage. So, I mean, I guess when you arrive in a wheelchair, you're going to leave in a wheelchair. It's no different.
Kind of on brand, though.
Yes, it
Love
totally
that.
was, which was why I slapped that in there from Bradley Cooper being off brand. And then I saw this story for being very on brand to a certain character that you're promoting. I mean, that was an accident. That was
Oh
something that was
my
real.
god.
Not Bradley
So
Cooper
funny.
slinging cheesesteaks in a food truck going, "Oh, yeah, I'm gonna be a restaurateur now."
Yeah, we
No,
literally have no idea. No, we're judging hard for it, though, even though we have no understanding about it.
I wanna know
Um,
more. Something doesn't pass the smell test.
it's a great segue, though, into the did you see anything about Tim Allen, how he got called out for being effing rude by his co-star?
Tim Allen has had he's interesting, he went to prison. I don't know if you
And
knew
yet
that.
he is, like, the epitome of kids' movies, that man
Never
always.
wanted that role. He talks about it very in a real way. I love Mark Maron's podcast, and,
Hmm.
he's been very, very real about never wanting to be that guy.
The
He's
Disney guy?
Yeah,
The family-friendly guy?
yeah,
That's unfortunate. The entire world and society and your business partners built you entire brand that was gonna make you a lot of money and be successful, but that's fine. Come out and say how you never really wanted it.
right. I know, I know.
Like, that's fine. You're literally entirely famous for being Woody and the Santa Claus
Yep.
and being, like, a voice to my childhood, but that's fine. I'm so sorry that you didn't like it.
Yeah. I mean, what does that say about to be fair, when we are doing these projects, right? We're doing this pod and you want it to be viewed as a certain way. You're doing your job and you want it to be viewed as a certain way. And then you become famous for a thing that you either didn't want or didn't want to do. Like, for instance, with my entertainment business.
Mm.
If you would ask me a decade ago, what is your least favorite part about being on the radio? It is doing gigs.
Oh my god, it's all you do right now. Yeah.
Least favorite part of my business, but I saw that that was a vertical that people were in need of post-pandemic.
Sure, but I don't think you would come out and say openly to your audience at the gig, "I actually hate doing this."
No. That would never happen.
Okay, so that's
And
my
and
point.
to be fair, it is the least favorite thing that I do of what I do, but it's not to say that I don't enjoy it in the moment when I'm doing it. I absolutely do.
I'm just
It's
not
just
on this trend of of people doing that. Like, Robert Pattinson came out and said it about Twilight. Like, screw you. We all love those movies. Don't ruin it. We actually don't
right.
care. You're not a real human anyway. We all live for Edward. So just shut up. Two, Jacob Elordi came out and said the same thing about what were those movies? The Kissing Booth. And then
Yeah.
his co-star came out and was like, that sucks to suck. Like, I'm sorry he felt that way. Um, I don't know. I feel like there's a lot of this. Oh, do you know the comedian Matt Rife?
Yeah.
Okay, I've been following this story a little
You know
bit.
how I feel about him too.
Okay, so I've been following the story a little bit about it because I think it's so interesting, and I'm also fascinated with the fact that BuzzFeed, for some reason, as a media, has a complete vendetta against this man. I'm here for it. I
Mhm.
don't understand it. They're the only vehicle that's posting any negative comments about it that are like pulled up from Reddit, and I
I
like
don't
nobody.
like him.
So it's so interesting to me because this is kind of the same thing, right? Like
Yeah.
now he's a modern comedian. For people who don't know, I guess I'll just kind of run through it a little bit. We haven't talked about this, right? No.
No, I talk about him all the time because I can't stand him, but I also
Okay.
respect him.
So I think this is really interesting. He's a comedian that has, in the last year, maybe 18 months, blown up on social media, pretty much on TikTok, with an audience gained majority by women via the vehicle of TikTok by his crowd work, how funny he is, how witty he is off the cuff. And
And
it has
YouTube.
grown. Yes. And it has grown his audience considerably. And then he comes out with a Netflix special, which I want to say totally because of how popular he's gotten, but also secondly, like let's not forget that there was a strike going on and all these networks were dying and dying and dying for content and
And
they
this is
couldn't.
his 2nd Netflix special.
Is it really? I thought it was
Yes,
his
it's his
first.
2nd Netflix special.
Okay.
And also I have to say that I just don't like when he does written comedy like that. I just don't think it's super funny, but I'm also not his target demo. So,
So
continue. I respect that.
this is what I'm frustrated by. He built this entire audience over the last year of majority of women who found him hysterical. He created that niche, which like in terms of male comedians is a fantastic niche to be in because
Mhm.
it is a very hard niche to get. And you can make a ton of money. You're an attractive man who is funny in your crowd work. You were able to get millennial and Gen Z and whatever, Gen X women
All the
on this.
women and all the gay guys love Matt Rife. They just do.
And then he comes out with a Netflix special and basically makes jokes about special needs. He makes jokes about abusive behavior towards women, complete misogyny the whole time. And obviously everybody rips him apart. And it'd be one thing if he came out and said like, "Hey, sorry, like this is actually I thought it was good writing. I guess it's not. I can see it's unsensitive." But instead he stood behind it and said, "Oh, actually, sorry women, you aren't who I want to be with." Like, "Okay, but we were actually just making you money. We actually just made you famous. We actually just got you that Netflix special because we thought you were funny." And then you turn around and you kind of slam on all of us. I just think it's so unfortunate. I think it's so classless. I think it's so business dumb. Like,
I
take
I like him more for it.
oh my god.
I like it more for it because in 2023, everyone is going to be tried. People are going to try and cancel you, right? And the two rules of canceling are: you either let it happen to you and slink off to the sunset, or you stand up for yourself and you stand up for the shit that you said, and then you push through it. Dave Chappelle. Matt Rife. I mean, comedy is unpopular. You're exposing the gross parts of life. That's the
Here's
way
my
comedy is.
here's my frustration with it. It's not about what he said because I think what he said is horrible, but I also think it's comedy. Like you're gonna poke fun at what you're gonna poke fun at, and truthfully, like the joke was kind of funny
You're
when you're like
always gonna upset someone.
when you're building on those stereotypes. It was kind of funny. What I didn't like was the post comments that were like, I actually don't give a flying fuck about the audience that I built on TikTok. I'm trying to target this demographic. I am trying to actually be a misogynistic comedian. And so I'm going to go in that direction. And all of the women were like, it just
His
feels dumb
following
to
count
me.
actually grew. So, because people wanted to see what dumb shit he would say next.
I
And
just think it's a
Howard Stern
bad.
built a brand on it, and you either like him or the people that hate him listen more to hate him. It's the society in which we live. You watch
I
because
get
you
it.
can't not watch.
I get it. I just think from like a stable business point of view, like you were handed a niche on a silver platter and then you went,
And here we are talking about him. And I don't like him, and I don't think he's attractive, but you know what? I respect the man because
yeah.
he's doing it right and he's doing it for himself, which I think is awesome. He doesn't have any backing. He doesn't have people bending over backwards to give him a deal. He made his own deal. So in that business person perspective, I give him so much credit. He doesn't owe anybody
I don't know.
anything and he's
Something about it. I
unapologetically
like
himself.
something about it. I like completely distrust him now, especially now. Apparently, somebody came out and was like, "I'm also his plastic surgeon for his jaw." I'm like, I love this. I just also I didn't think his special was that funny. Like, I
It's
think
not.
his
It's
his
not
crowd,
funny. He's funnier when he's making fun of people.
yes,
When
his crowd work is
he sent
phenomenal.
every single person that made a nasty comment a link. And then you clicked on the link and it went to his special needs helmet. And
Okay,
I
that is not okay. For like comedy is personal and it's potentially offensive. There should be a line drawn in the sand. That is a goddamn line. That is not okay.
but he took the time to respond to his people. Kind of like humping into this Taylor Swift story because as much as I can't stand talking about Taylor Swift because I feel like she's just in
We
every
need to talk
facet
about
of
her
our
more.
life now.
Well, that's the point, because she's Time Person of the Year, and we mentioned it a little bit, like, oh, she got Time Person, but then I got to sit down and read the whole damn
Well,
article.
it just happened
Holy.
when we were starting to do
Yep.
our episode. So
Yep.
I was glad that we were at least topical, mentioned it. We knew about it. We didn't get into it. But the whole thing is a very good article. And I definitely suggest that you read what she put in time.
Did you get a chance to read it?
I did.
So I thought the photos were amazing. That photo in the black dress with the guitar over her head is
Yeah.
just incredible. I love the fact that she posted about it. Her first post about it was the picture with her and her cat.
Yep.
And the caption is like, Time, hey, we thought it'd be really great to name you person of the, and she interrupts and she goes, great, can I bring my cat? Like I think it's so on brand. I think it's really fun for her to like be herself with this. And then I thought the whole article and the things that she came out and said in it, like slay the whole time. Her
Yeah.
one-liners were absolutely incredible. The whole article. She came out and really supported Travis and said, I'm just here to support him. It's funny to me. People thought that me showing up at the stadium was our first date. It was obviously not. I
Yeah,
thought it
right.
was cool that he called me out on his podcast. Like, that was awesome. Then we started talking. Then we went out. Then I showed up. Like, I don't care. What did she say? She didn't care about the moments, the amount of times she ended up on TV that piss off the Brads, Chads, and Dads.
So good.
Incredible.
Yeah.
What were some of the other lines that were?
There are so many.
She started out the article saying like, thank you, I've had a really incredible year, this has been amazing, I've worked really hard for this, and then she kind of follows it up with, are you entertained? And it's just iconic. And I think the most iconic part of the entire article is when she addresses the Kanye Kim Kardashian phone call. I didn't know we needed this. We needed it. And
You know how I feel about that entire family. And I know I loved this part.
I love the fact that
I
she
was here for it.
finally is standing up for herself in it. She calls right out. She said they were lying, they manipulated, they manufactured the phone call. It was entirely a frame job. It was illegally
It's kinda
recorded.
sad.
I think it's a great like middle finger F you to Kim and Kanye, who at the time really had like almost a bigger conglomerate of business and money and power than Taylor Swift did at the time. And you see those scales tip at now in 2023. And regardless of how hard Kim Kardashian works, and believe me, I have respect for that. This was Taylor's moment to be like, fuck you guys. I got Time Person of the Year because I've worked my ass off for this. There are very few musicians that have ever gotten this award. I am now one of them, and I'm going to speak my truth in this, and I'm going to say that was bullshit, and we're going to talk about it.
Yeah.
The line, the trash takes itself out every time.
Sorry.
Like, let me get that tattooed on my arm. Like, unbelievable.
There is something to be said about that. And I definitely want to just take a minute to address the fact that when you're out there being your true self and doing your real thing, it feels genuine. It feels like the word of the year, authentic. It feels real. So there's nothing that can take that elation away. When you're seeking it and you want to be known for want to be known, it's not, it doesn't balance. You're right. The trash does take itself out, and it's totally viewable. You can chase that all you want, but when you're when you're the real thing, it just naturally shines. There's nothing you can do to muck it up.
I agree. I think Kim Kardashian is such a hard worker. I think she is completely talentless, but has found herself along the way with hard work. And I think there's something to be said for that. She came from nothing. She saw, nothing. She saw a goal. She wanted to be famous. She figured out how to get there. And I think there's a level of respect to that she's a grinder. Don't get me wrong. But when you put her up against somebody like Taylor Swift, who's got true, actual, intellectual, raw talent, it is very hard to compare the two.
Yeah. Yeah. And it seems needy. It seems thirsty compared to someone who just has it.
But I also think, too, Kim completely got caught up in this moment with her husband. Her husband created and drew a line in the sand, and Kim had to make a choice. And
he's a master manipulator, 100%.
I think she could have done, the best thing for her was to stay completely out of it, but she didn't. And if she was going to pick a side publicly, she got completely manipulated to stand alongside Kanye. And I think almost in this, though we are painting her as a villain, though the internet is throwing all kinds of snake emojis and crap underneath her Instagram, which I think is kind of hysterical. But they did it to Taylor.
Take your wounds, take it and suffer it, because you'll be back. I know you will, in true Kardashian form.
But I just think she's as much of a victim almost as Taylor is. And I almost would love for Kim to come out, whether it's on her show or she comes out and she says something, even post it on her Instagram, like, hey, I've seen this article. This is actually the biggest regret of my life. And here's why. I had to do this. But she won't, because she's got to stand by Kanye still as the father of her kids. But I would love that for her to come out and say, I regret it. It was not okay for me. I'm trying to figure out how to be a better parent to my kids. My kids love her now. Of course they do. We listen to Taylor Swift all the time.
Right.
Of course they do. And I got dragged into this by Kanye, who makes controversial, crappy ass comments all the time. And I had to figure out how to support him. And yeah, he manufactured it. His team did. He told me to do this. I got dragged into it to try to support him. It worked at the time. I thought it blew over. What do you know? Of course, she's 2023's Woman of the Year, Person of the Year, whatever it is. And I'm going to stand up and say, yep, shitty on my part. Here's what really happened. I am sorry for that. And just own it. Because like the silence is just not working anymore.
That's it. If you can't be canceled, if you're genuine. So that's it. Just stand up.
And I think she was genuinely a victim. So talk about it.
Yeah.
I think the bad guy in this is Kanye. So I do feel a little bit bad. Like, although she created the better self, I feel a little bit bad that she's being made in it, for sure.
Well, you did the crime. You do the time. She'll come back. She always will.
I also think, too, slightly suspect that this is Taylor's way of opening up the marketing for the Reputation album, because her hair is the same way. She's wearing a lot of black. She's kind of got the same eye makeup situation going on in the article as she does similarly to all the marketing for Reputation. Then she brings up the situation, which is what she kind of sings about a lot on that album. So I think she's like business ahead, forefront, lining up the timing and doing it. So I'm so ready. It's my favorite album. Let's go.
We don't have any time for content recommendations, so you're gonna have to. Maybe we'll push it till Monday if we've got something good, but
or not.
Or not. Get perky with us Monday, Wednesday, and Friday.
Follow us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. The First Shot Morning Show.
The First Shot Morning Show is produced by Lemonadio. When life gives you lemons, make radio. We encourage everyone to listen happier.com.